Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new episode of the Peptalk. My name is Nidhi, and today we'll be discussing topics like book community and its global connection. So, social media has changed the way we interact on a personal level, and of course, professionally as well, and with businesses. But one of the major industry that I personally feel has been impacted by it is publishing. Being a part of publishing industry, I've seen the changes, and I want to talk about it. So, to know more deeply about it, we have Mr. Rohan Raj with us today, the co founder of Booknerds and an avid reader. So, please tell us about yourself, Rohan, please.
Hi, Nidhi. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me. Usually it's the other way around. So I'm feeling kind of strange today. When you are the moderator, it's quite different. But, giving answers, I hope I am able to do justice. Thank you for inviting me to this. I really appreciate that you are doing this, the pep talk. And it's awesome. The more podcasts we have about publishing, about the, written word and reading, the better it is. And about me, as you also mentioned that I'm the co-founder of Booknerds. It's a literary startup, and the other co-founder is my wife. Her name is Neha Raj, and together in 2015, we thought, okay, I had recently gotten fired, so it made it very easy for me to kind of get into this.
Okay.
And so
That's a
getting fired is the
positive
best
way.
thing ever.
Yeah, that's a positive way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing ever. You don't even have to make a choice. Somebody else does it for you.
I
So
understand.
yeah, if you have to give up your job after your 30s, it is quite difficult. But if somebody fires you, it's the easiest. Just go for whatever you feel like, whatever you're passionate about. And I've always been a reader. My wife has got that business streak that is needed to kind of set things up and keep it running. And that's how we started in 2015 with a very simple idea of kind of creating a community around book lovers, and that's about it. And then of course there we really wanted to evolve and be that quintessential literary startup. But it started with that, the offline community in Dehradun,
Yeah.
and then we went on to other things. And that's about me. I mean, I'm just a reader trying to make money at the same time. It's a different ball game, and it's a difficult one at that. But it is a lot of fun when you can do
Yeah.
that
And I
professionally.
think in a cliche way, as long as you're having fun, it's good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you're not having fun, it is very hard. I mean, sometimes, I mean, of course, it's not always fun.
Yeah.
But when you come across that great book, which you can also talk about, and at the same time talk to the author, it's just so gratifying. And that's what I mean. The entire team, in fact, I just mentioned the co-founders, but the entire team that has come together. We call ourselves the book Avengers. We are not really Avengers, but we are just the
No, but that's
boys,
a cool
perhaps.
name.
We are just rip-offs of the Avengers. But it's always good to get to bring together a team and work together on books, because it's a very sort of different process, which I don't know. I mean, a lot of people get to experience, but we love it.
No, that's very interesting. And like thinking about it, especially with COVID and,
Yeah,
increase in online consumption of content, I would say,
yeah,
there's a lot of entertainment out there. But in
yeah,
your vision section of your website, everybody go
yeah,
check it out. It
yeah,
specifically mentioned that you wish to bring books and, reading to the forefront of
yeah,
entertainment. With this
yeah.
vast sea of entertainment, what do you think?
Right.
Could you explain more about it?
It's just the intersection of everything, because as long as for the longest time, especially, I mean, across the globe, you can say that, not only in India, the only thing that has been kind of lacking is entertainment in the space. And I mean, we are seeing that in the West as well, book talk has come along, and the entertainment quotient has increased. It could be book recommendation videos, it could be offline book club events. But what's happening is that, for the longest time, it has always been this, books have always been this elite thing, right? I mean, if you read books, it's, you are sort of intellectual and you are way above other people.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Everybody
That's the
can read.
assumption. Yeah. True.
I mean, if you know what I mean, I mean, if you go at those kind of elite book launches or whatever, in those five-star hotels, you realize it's very palpable, and that's what we kind of, wanted to, by entertainment, we meant like not dancing with books exactly, but it was like, making it more cool. I mean, making it more accessible to the younger generation, which sometimes, people get scared. I mean, if you talk about unemployment, or you talk about, politics, people get afraid really
That
quickly.
is true.
So
Yeah.
they don't then want to, talk about that, and they go away from, especially nonfiction, they go away from it. But there's so much learning there, if we only talk about nonfiction. So that was the purpose, and with the book club community as well, in Dehradun and Lucknow, we try to do that, mix it up. If you're talking about politics, bring in a cool sort of game in it, or some activity which will make it, sort of more fun, rather than just sit with a serious face and, talk about how, the GDP has gone down or stuff like that,
Yeah.
or talk about, perhaps it's LGBT month. And then if you only talk seriously, and not that you have to make fun or mock, just
Yeah.
that the entire, experience has to be more engaging, more than
That's
anything
true.
else. So
That's
that's what we try to work on. Create some unique literary experiences, combine them sometimes with online stuff as well. So those are the things that really matter, and get the best moderator sometimes in the offline sessions. I'm talking mostly about offline because that's what is closest to my heart. So I'm not talking about online yet, but it's very important as well. The way, kind of, the online book club communities, and bookstagrammers and everybody has book talkers have contributed to, the publishing scene in the past, yeah, yeah, after COVID especially.
yes.
It's really awesome. So that's what we mean by entertainment. It's not exactly dancing up and down, and but creating those fun experiences which other industries are boasting of. I mean, let's be honest. Other industries have them already. We we need to catch up. That's about it.
Yeah, that is true. Publishing has always been this, mold that it's very hard to break it because
Yeah,
it's always traditional, like the word is
yeah,
in there. So that's
right.
why. But like
Right.
I
I mean,
understand.
why can't why can't there be more sort of fantasy book clubs, for example?
Yeah.
They are so much fun. I
Mm.
mean, there probably there wouldn't be any fantasy book club in Delhi. I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But there are not many out there. Maybe there are some people sitting there online on Clubhouse or somewhere,
Yeah.
discussing them. But on offline, these experiences are just amazing. I would like to tell you before the next question that we had
Yeah.
this fantasy book meetup, and we were discussing these books by Tomi Adeyemi. She's a New York writer. I think so. She lives in New York, and she has got, soon these books will be adapted into movies. These books are amazing. So what we did was that in this fantasy book meetup, we were kind of, so it's based on the African heritage. So what we did was we asked the team to kind of paint those traditional tribal tattoos which you make by hand on everybody, and then we started the book discussion. So stuff like that, it makes it very interesting. And so somebody got, so these tattoos mean something, in those tribes. It is always about, it may be about hope, it may be about community. So it's like that. So yeah, I mean, just these sessions are fun. Let me tell you that it's not only Harry Potter, and we do that as well.
Yeah.
We do that as well, but it's not only Harry Potter, let me tell you.
No, but this makes sense. Like, this is related to, I was going to talk about this Times of India's article that was named Book Clubs, Interactive Sessions Tempt People to Read More. And you explained it perfectly with the example, you know. And mostly, I believe book clubs are all about stories. So I want
Yeah,
to quote one more person here, like Trevor Noah, one of my
yeah.
favorite comedians out there.
Oh
He,
yes, he's
and
awesome.
he speaks so eloquently. And so
Yeah,
he says this one, like, I'm not sure if it's this exact line, but prejudice doesn't hold well with context. So if you
right.
know the stories, the exposure, like, that's why people boast about traveling, you know.
Yeah,
It's literally just being somewhere, being in somebody
yeah,
else's shoes and trying to
right.
understand them.
Yeah,
That is all there is. So I believe these book clubs, the way you explained it with the
yeah,
tattoos and everything,
yeah,
like, it just takes you to a different place than you're used
right.
to.
You're so right, Nidhi. And actually, this is not a very novel idea, to be honest. I mean, how many ideas are really novel in
Yeah.
this, world? And I was in New York. I was studying, and I experienced this firsthand. At various book clubs in the city, and then it struck me that we need to do this. In our country as well. And I
Sure.
would also like to add that regional literature is very, very important. It's not only just English. And I'm happy to report that we started Booknerds Hindi last year on Hindi Divas, and the team is just brilliant. You should check out their content if you haven't already, and the listeners and viewers can also do that. They are just awesome, and I'm plugging it blatantly, but I'm telling you, it is even better than what we are churning out at English. So, the regional literature is somewhat at the core of what we're doing. We set
Yes.
up the Hindi website, and we churn out a lot of content. So anybody who loves Hindi books as well, they can come and work for us. So,
No, that's true. Like, we at Pepperscript, of course, we also
yeah,
appreciate regional language, and because that's the core part of India. There are more than 160 languages. Come on, we
yeah,
can't just
yeah,
focus
yeah,
on one because it's
right,
business language, and you have to
right,
live with it, kind of
right.
thing.
And
But
that's where we are lacking, Nidhi. Actually, that's where we are lacking, because this bridge between the various languages, it has not been kind of explored. And I
true.
mean, the Booker Prize tells us, you
Mhm.
know, just realize it very quickly, that it's Hindi that's going to do it for us. It's not only English. You can't do that. Translations and Hindi will do it for us. It's not going to be English. And that's why a lot of publishers go to these round tables, and they are talking about various stuff. I'm talking about the English
Yeah.
publishers. And where we are lacking is that, I mean, it's just that bridge between the other languages that we have not been able to kind of build adequately, should I say.
That is true.
So that's where we are lacking, and working together also is a slight problem, with between regional and English publishers. I'm sure. I mean, Pepperscript has a very startup sort of way to work, but
Yes.
most old school publishers don't really work well. Yeah, together. Most of them, at least,
Yeah, I
whatever
agree.
I know. I may be
No,
wrong.
because there are, certain untold rules that everybody has to follow. And
Yeah.
like, being at Pepperscript is just mostly young people who just want to publish books. That's like
Yes.
our
Yes.
entire goal. Read
Yes.
new stories, get them to people who might love them also. So that's
Right.
it. But I understand the traditional way of doing things, because
Right.
being this industry and related to, like, I've always been related to literature in one way or other due to my work or studies. But yeah, so I understand, like, on a personal level how it goes.
No, I mean, it's not only publishing. I'm saying even on social media,
Yeah.
you need to kind of do cross-platform things
Yeah.
between English and Hindi as well. I mean, we are digressing from the topic, but it's just that we need to do more, and I don't see it happening exactly. Even if you check out Penguin's page and
Yeah.
say Vani's page, these are some of the top people in
Yeah.
English and Hindi. How many collaborations have they really done? So,
Well,
I mean, I may anger some people, especially Vani, because the founder is a friend. But
No,
um,
I understand. Everybody's trying to do, but okay, there's too much on the plate and too much to
right.
do. There's
I
always
know.
some place we all lack. Being in the book
Right,
community ourselves.
I know.
Yeah.
It must be that place. But I'm sure that they are so good at what they do. They should be able to pull it off in the future. I'm sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. So since this is all like social media and everything, so this is another one of my, biggest curiosities, like
Yeah.
booktube and bookstagram and especially book talk being so popular. And
Right.
do you really think it can keep people reading, especially in India? Like we're since talking about the Indian publishing scene, where
Yes.
most of the industry is dominated by educational books, just
Right.
textbooks.
Totally, totally. I really think so. And it's it's not. I mean, the creators are. We have some great creators, but they are digressing from what they really want to do. For example, I notice. I know some book talk, some what do you call booktubers
Yeah.
who make content like great content, but they digress from that content from say fiction, because they find that the viewership is kind of not exactly like you're not getting those 100,000 views, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of digress. So I feel that what they're doing is it's good, it's really good for the time being, but later on when the economics and the viewership also kind of is at the same plane, they will
Yeah.
do better. And the bookstagrammers are also doing brilliant. All the creators are good. LinkedIn has come along very nicely. The creator
Yes.
program is very nice. A lot of people are talking about books there, in the written form. It's all coming together very quickly. There are some things missing, which the economics of it. So that's where kind of the startups will be very important. How they bring in say web3 into it, how they kind of give impetus to the creators, how they earn money. It's the most important thing. So at Booknerds, we try to do that. I mean, whatever people we hire, we try to pay them well, and kind of not do those free internships and stuff like that. We don't do that.
Mhm.
So that's very important. The creators are just brilliant, but the work the working of the creators along with in synergy with the publishers, with other stakeholders like bookshops, libraries, that's a bit of an issue, and that's what we are trying to kind of solve as well in our own way. We are trying to do that. We are trying to collaborate with different stakeholders. It's tough, half the people don't understand why you want to collaborate with us, but there are many who have really been kind, and they collaborate with us. It could be sometimes paid, it could be unpaid, but that's what I feel is a bit lacking, but it will improve in the future, because this synergy, that's what is lacking. For example, a publisher won't hire say a booktuber, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if they've hired a booktuber,
It depends on which context and which position are we talking about. If it's like related to
right?
publishing and content creation, specifically for social media, then definitely
Yeah,
because we also, do a lot
yeah.
of collaboration work with them. But if you're talking
No,
about
I'm saying
experience,
hiring.
yeah,
I'm saying
experience
hiring.
wise, I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
No, Pepperscript is out, not on the table because you guys think differently. You are not on the
No,
table
I'm
because
generally talking about the
yes,
collaboration that I've seen. Yeah.
yeah, collaborations are always fine. I
Yeah.
understand why why publishers collaborate, and then because it's better for them, as
Yeah.
in you don't have to have people on payroll. But
Yeah.
hiring also is very important, because then it gives security to the booktuber,
Yeah.
or it could be a bookstagrammer. If you give security to them, I know they name them social media managers, and then
Yeah.
you have to work on everything, but it has to be more specific now. I think so. It
Mhm.
can't be just that. Social media manager can't be the only thing, or so these positions have to come out, and that's where the publishers will benefit. So this is very important, and I think so. Yeah, if publishers don't do that, we'll struggle. If we'll really struggle if we don't kind of, reinvent the workforce, so as to say. So that's very important for me. Yeah. Did I answer the question, or we went somewhere
Yeah, of
else?
course. No worries. It's just our like discussing conversation. And so basically, so from what I've understood, you
Yeah,
do a lot of inclusive work in Booknerds, right?
yeah,
Being it a
yeah,
literary association, and you
yeah.
yourself is in connection with a lot of publishing houses,
Right.
and
Yeah,
a lot of Bookstagrammers, and you yourself
yeah,
create content on these channels. So what do
yes,
you
yeah.
think, like how this experience have changed, and how far do you think this profession has come along?
Oh, it has changed. I mean, if you see 2015
Yeah.
as like, if we were doing this in 2015, I don't know if you would be doing this, because there
True.
was only Google Hangouts, and we used to sometimes host authors. I mean, we at the offline sessions, we used to have a huge projector, a huge screen, and a projector, and we used to, invite authors back then in 2016 and 17. So that's what amazes me, that we were doing this back then, and we were doing it live sometimes. But when the pandemic hit, everybody is like, you know we can we go on Zoom, talk and stuff like that. So it has changed a lot. Bookstagram wasn't there. Bookstagram has come along, and beautifully. And the reels are my favorite. Reels and memes, and we also make memes. You should check them out. It is so much fun. These things are very important. If you look at other handles from other industries, we need to really catch up, and these things are going to be the future. Staying with the trends, old school publicity, old school book launches, boring book launches, just going to lit fest,
Yeah.
and just having a serious panel will not cut it. Let me tell you, it will not cut it. At least not for the sort of writers who are not that popular.
No,
At
yeah,
least
that is true.
I mean, the popular ones will do well. I mean, there
They
will be a
will
huge,
do without any panel or anything. Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
ah, yeah. So they don't need it actually. Do they need the panel? I mean, Shashi Tharoor will sell anyways. They
Yeah.
don't really need the panel. But the problem lies with some great authors who you just don't know. I mean, I was reading this book by Nayana Goradia, and she's an author from Delhi. She has written this autobiographical sort of, book, and it's amazing. It's not a coffee table book. It's not an autobiography. It's not fiction. You can't even box it. So it is just amazing. So these books will not get a platform. I know that.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm worried, and that's where Bookstagram and book talkers are so important. And creating those awesome memes. I think a great idea would be for someone to just create a book meme page. If it
Yeah.
is not already there, if it is not
I
already
believe there
there,
are many. Yeah.
must
Yeah.
be. But more of them.
Yeah.
It not only one, but more of them, and so stuff like that. It is so important. And the 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 thing that I'm really excited about is NFTs. That's going to change the way we publishing happens, and that's what excites me. And there are some startups that are already onto it,
Yeah.
and yeah, you never know, maybe we also get into it, but it's really interesting. You get the first book of an author signed, create an NFT, and see the magic. It's amazing. What it can do for creators, and I mean authors, all creative professionals,
Yeah.
in publishing especially.
So that's great. Okay. So now on to my favorite part. Like,
Yeah,
I always love it talking to other
yeah,
people. Since we're
yeah.
discussing so much about books, I would love
Right.
to know what is your favorite book, or like if there's a specific author you prefer.
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, I read a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
why
read a
I'm
lot.
very excited about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I had to I'll have to say that, the book that has affected me the most is The Archer by Paulo Coelho. And it's an underrated book by the author. Not everybody knows about it, but it is just awesome. Okay. And what I love about the book is, so I'll tell you a little bit about the book. What's happening here is Paulo is talking about this archer who has given up on archery, and he's sitting in one corner of the world, just doing carpentry. And
Okay.
it's he has given up on his passion and sort of what he did. And then again, one of the a kid hears about this great archer, and tries to reach out to him in this remote village. And it's about that, and then how the archer tells this a little guy that about the bow, about the string, about archery, about the arrow, and how, and about life in general. So it's about that in a gist. But it's an amazing book. And in fact, I would love to read a quote from there. I had
Yes, of course.
already kind of which I really love, and I'll just read it out to you.
Mhm.
It says, but never hold back from firing the arrow if all that paralyzes you is fear of making a mistake. If you have made the right movements, open your hand and release the string. Even if the arrow fails to hit the target, you will learn how to improve your aim next time. And it it talks about archery, but
Yeah.
you notice that it is much more than that. And this it's I would say that an experienced reader would finish the book within 35 to 45 minutes. It's a very short one,
Okay.
but it has got so much wisdom. It's amazing. And this is on the sort of non-fiction front.
Mhm.
So this is one book which has really affected me, and kind of I go back to it also. I mean,
Okay.
after, I would say, Tuesdays with Maury, this is
Yeah.
the book that has affected me. And Tuesdays with Maury, I read like back in the day. It's an old book. I don't know if you have read it. It's
I
just
haven't. It's
amazing.
on my TBR. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I I don't know if many people know about this book by Paulo Coelho, but they should definitely read it. Usually, everybody goes to The Alchemist and
Yeah, that
stops there.
those are more popular
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. The popular ones everybody goes to, but this one, like, it's something, quite something. And on the fiction front, I'm loving some Indian writers, really good Indian writers, and one of the books that I really appreciated was by Shubha Sarma, and I forget the full name, but it ends with Am Nagri, and it's you can search it on Amazon. It is based in Lucknow, and
Yeah.
it is a very grounded sort of story, and it talks about life, relationships, and it's so earthy. That book is so earthy. That's what I love about the book. And the list would be endless, but just that, of the top of my head, I could remember that book and having a lot of fun reading it. Perhaps because I'm like half Lucknowi or something. I don't know. Maybe because of that.
Yeah,
I love the book.
having sort of a relation to any place, I
Yeah.
think that makes it more special.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, all the Ruskin Bond books that are always up there.
I think
But
that's the
yeah,
Indian jewel there.
I need not mention it. I am from Dehradun, so I have to love them. I mean, there is no choice. It just feels so, when you read about Rusty, it is almost like you're reading about yourself. Sometimes,
Wow.
walking the streets of Doon,
Yeah.
it's just that. I mean, it is very the feeling is very sort of the narrative is very palpable, so it's very good. I mean, you can go back to it also.
Yeah.
Another one, and you asked for one. I'm giving you like two, three, but
Okay. The more
goodness.
the merrier.
The final one. I'm
Yeah.
not going to bug everyone with all my recommendations, but Magic in Missouri is a book. It's a comic book, and it's
Okay.
about Missouri and these two kids. It's a fantasy fiction sort of, comic book, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And in fact, the it's a spoiler, but I should give it. Ruskin Bond makes a guest appearance in that comic book. It's so amazing, that entire concept. It's written by a local author, a Dehradun author. His name is Atul Sethi, and he also works with Times of India, and it's a great book.
I believe I'm adding it to my TBR then. I love comics anyway.
The comic book for sure. Everybody should read that one. It's so much fun. It will remind you of the Tintins and Asterix, that sort of. If you have fun with that, then
Yeah.
you'll love this.
Okay, amazing. And so to sort of have a conclusion, I would love
Yeah.
if you could share something about the our listeners who are mostly first-time writers, as we talked so much about them, something that they
Yeah.
should take care of, or just have fun writing with.
Okay. So I have I mean, it's strange to talk about oneself, but I have talked to a lot of authors over over a period of, say, 6 years at least, and offline and online, and talk to them about writing, how they write, what they read. It's a lot of information in there, but what the crux of it all is what I feel, and after reading all of it, is language matters, and that's very important. Sometimes the bad writers would pass it off as kind of, it's okay, who cares about the grammar, it was relatable, it was an easy read. These things you come across on Amazon, it was an easy read or light read or whatever. It's not about that, it's not about those fancy words, just the grip over the language, the sentence formation, just the roots, the Ren and Martin. It's
Yeah, yeah.
important, man. So it's important. If you are not sticking to it, it could be English, it could be Hindi, it could be any language. You have to stay true to it, and if it is not there, then it hampers the entire experience. It
Yeah.
it doesn't it doesn't feel good, and I've read a lot of bad books, so I know that, and it is very important. Whatever you can pass it off as, as I mentioned, easy read or whatever, but it is bad. That's about it. It is bad. And if you don't know that, you need to get a great editor, or great a beta reader, which is an insider sort of term. Whoever is not from publishing may not understand. But
Yeah.
reader is that first, or one or two readers who tell you, like, does it suck or not? It's
Yeah.
like that. So the manuscript sucks or not. But it is very important for me. And the first time writers, the hurry they are in to publish, that's what worries me. That's what worries me. I mean, you can write a great manuscript. Look at, there are so many prolific Indian writers out there,
Yeah.
so they are writing quickly and well. So why not emulate them? How are they doing it? Why not send them an email, and how are you doing it? Learn from them. Listen to the publisher.
Yeah,
He's
that is.
telling you, he or she is telling you, don't publish this right now, improve it. So
Yeah.
why are you publishing it anyways? I know self-publishing is really cool and easy,
Yeah.
but you go to it, but the product should be good, then you go to it.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not the other way around. Like, it, if you have a bad product and then also you want to push it out. And I have seen there are loads of writers who have got 10 books in their kitty, and nothing is worthwhile. Nothing is worthwhile. And why not have just one great book, like Gitanjali Shri?
Yeah.
Just have that one great book. And
No,
it's
I
it's a huge
understand.
one, by the way.
Yeah. No, but I believe that the self-publishing, I also,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate that being in the publishing industry. It's one of the
yeah.
things that give more chances, because traditional
Right,
publishing is honestly not for everybody.
right,
And I get
right,
it, because not everybody can be a full-time writer and dedicate
right.
everything to this. But I
Totally,
agree
totally.
with you as well, because like it's a community. Everybody somehow will end up helping each other. So yeah.
So why not? I mean, I'm saying, if you really want to publish it, why not send it to a couple of bookstagrammers
Yeah.
just to get a feel of it? just
True.
to get a feel of it, sign a contract with them, let them know, can you tell me, like, is it worthwhile, the credible ones at
Yeah.
least, and I mean,
No,
how to
that's
judge
also
that, I mean, yeah,
because a lot of bookstagrammers, these booktubers, the
yeah,
review industry has been changed
yeah,
by them. Like now the
yeah,
publishers are looking for these specific
right,
reviews, not the
right,
masses. So yeah,
right. It's
really
so
thanks.
you can kind of get a feel of whether you have written a good thing or not. And
Yes.
after that, it falters, it doesn't sell well. That's a different thing. But at least you have the kind of you get a sense of, have you written well or not? That's very important, I feel. And there are so many writers who are ignoring that. And
Mhm.
then what happens is the credibility of the entire space goes down. For example, I read a book by X author, and in the Indian space, and he or she is really bad, and then the argument turns to, like, Indian writing is bad, but that's not the
Yeah,
case.
true.
That's not the case. There's so many writers. So yeah, and a lot of writers are not reading. So that's something I really don't like, which is happening, which is like happening right now. So they and I'm like, I think I one of the podcasts, I asked a writer, and like, what do you read? And he or she said that I don't get time to read, and I was like, okay. Okay. And I was like, okay, bye bye. So you have to get some time. I mean, not like 100 books in a month, but
Yeah,
at least two or three, the ones which will help you in
yeah.
writing. Perhaps there are some really talented writers who don't need to read at all, and but they are few. I mean, I
It's a
don't think so.
practice anyway. I think
Yeah,
everything, there are very
yeah,
few among us as like
yes,
inhumans who are just
yeah,
brilliantly, shining like a
yeah,
star. But the rest of
right.
us are just practicing day by day.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, if you haven't read the classics, and then you start writing,
Yeah.
mm, I mean, I don't know. It you have to read the good ones at least before you start writing. So that's a very sort of very easy advice which I have gotten from a lot of good authors,
Mhm.
and yeah, and that's why I haven't started my book. So I
Too
know
much,
that it will.
too
I know
overwhelming.
that
Huh?
it will suck. I know that it will suck. So I need to get my, what I need to do right first, absolutely right, and then start my book. And I never wanted to write, actually. But, there was something which I really wanted to write.
Mhm.
I mean, I got an idea and I was like, okay, now I don't know how to write. What the heck is happening? So yeah, I need to place that in perspective, perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, that's very useful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rohan, for sharing your experiences and talking about all these interesting things that you have been through yourself. And thank you.
Yeah. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just rambled. I mean, I don't know.
No,
But
I
perhaps
think everybody loves
perhaps next time around.
that.
you know,
That's
I,
just the
I
podcast. It's just going on a rant and enjoying it.
it happens, when you don't get the opportunity to give the answers, when somebody, does that, asks you to talk about books, it goes haywire. So I didn't have a plan coming into this.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it personally, and I believe our
Thank you
listeners
so much.
would too. And so, everybody, that was Book Community and its global connection. So, you guys need to check out Booknerds to satisfy your bookish souls. They hold meetups, and recently, you guys held the Pride Literature meetup, and you
Yeah.
have more coming up. I saw on your website. So, everybody, go to
Potterhead.
the website for the links. I'm sorry.
The Potterhead Hangout is coming up
Oh, that's great. I
on
think.
July 31st. On July 31st. So yeah,
Yeah, so
that should
that's
be fun.
a wonderful event. I would like to join. I'm also a huge Potterhead. So
Why not? Why not?
yeah, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
all the links will be in the description. Do check them out.
Thank you so much, Nidhi and Pepperscript, for having me. Thank you so much. Just amazing. And I would love to come back if you want me back at all.
Definitely, of course. There's so many books and so many things to talk about. Like there's never an end, honestly.
Awesome. Thank you so much.